Welcome back. You're still watching SA Today on a Sunday afternoon. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the workplace, changing how people work and how business gets done. As a result, there's a renewed emphasis on the digital environment, creating a demand for technologically oriented work skills. Martin Pienaar is the COO of Mindworx Academy, and he joins us to tell us a little bit more. Thanks so much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter, and good afternoon to your viewers.
All right, I suppose just by the way we're communicating is testimony to the fact that technology is really driving the way that we do things now.
Indeed it is, and while we've seen a slowdown in the recruitment space because of job freezes and companies being more cautious about recruitment, I mean, one of the highlights of this time has been that we've actually placed some people where the whole process has been digital from end to end, from getting the job specs to sourcing the candidates to them being interviewed by boards of directors to them actually being onboarded and starting their careers at their new company. The whole process has been conducted digitally end to end.
I mean, I remember a time where being able to use Microsoft Word was considered a skill, but now it's just literacy.
Indeed, and I think the onus now is on all of us to keep our skills up to date. It's been remarkable to us to watch our own staff learn new skills over this time. Princess, who's a geocoding specialist in our team, taught herself Python, a programming language. My daughter, who's a psychologist by profession, has learned to code in Shopify and runs an online shopping platform. So I think the onus is on us to keep our skills up to date in this time.
So what skills are becoming essential now that we really are now considering, even for entry-level staff, that they should have as a minimum?
Well, I think as companies digitize, and if you look at who's been successful over this lockdown, whose share prices have increased, who've grown market shares, it's companies that were already in the digital space and who've enhanced those digital skills. So, you need business analysts to document requirements. You need people to code websites, mobile sites, and then to link that into backends. The more businesses digitize, the more data gets created. So now you need artificial intelligence and machine learning skills and big data skills to be able to analyze that data and make sense of it. We're dealing with our customers in a digital space. So we need customer experience skills, user interface skills. So these are the kinds of skills that we're seeing actually a growth in demand for, despite this lockdown.
And I guess as well, even the blue-collar worker, inverted commas, it needs to get some kind of digital skills, because even the most basic operations now require some kind of technological interaction.
I guess the irony of the fourth industrial revolution, which is really a digital revolution, is that the blue-collar skills are actually the ones that are going to be very hard for machines and robots to replace. I don't know if you've considered having your hair cut by a robot lately, but I'm not going that direction. However, as you say, that hairdresser needs to be able to market her services online, take reservations online, bill her clients digitally, take payments in a new world of payments. So, that the world's moving on, and as you say, nobody can survive without digital skills now.
And I guess, and I'm keeping hearing this, that we were already on the path to this 4IR and this technological kind of future. But what COVID-19 has done is that it's accelerated this disruption. And so some companies have been caught actually a bit unaware of, they knew it was coming, but now it's actually in their office.
Yeah. I mean, Mindworx was a digital company from the start. We've always been a laptops-only company. All of our staff have been enabled with 3G cards. All of our documents have been stored in the cloud from the get-go. And the Mindworx Academy has only ever trained digital skills. So I think companies that had digital in their minds before this time have actually prospered, whereas those companies that weren't on that path have gone backwards.
All right, we keep using the word digital, but, what does that actually really mean?
I mean, I thought a really good example was one I read in the Financial Times today, and it was a case of a rapper called Travis Scott, who held a series of concerts online over this time. on a platform which was a gaming platform traditionally called Fortnite. His concert was such a success. I think he had 12.5 million viewers at his best concert, and the streaming volumes on his songs went up fourfold. So much so that Sony have invested $250 million in a stake in that business. So there, if you think about not being able to hold concerts in this time, and yet here's a rapper who's increased his value, and a gaming company who've got Sony, a big tech company, to invest in them. So for me, that's what digital is all about. It's about reinventing your business in a way that can thrive in a digital-only world.
And I suppose what digital does as well is it increases your potential in terms of customers, because before, if your shop was within a certain kilometer square of whatever, that was your potential. Yeah. And now you can do automated sales around the world.
Yeah, and I guess everybody's doing that. So you've got to still differentiate yourself. And for us, that differentiation comes from looking after your staff, making sure that they have the skills, making sure that they're enabled. From the beginning of the lockdown, we've had regular meetings with our team. We've stayed in touch with them. We've kept them motivated. We haven't gone to sleep. And I think that's such an important part of survival in this digital space, is bringing your staff along that journey with you.
I know you do a lot of training, and I just wonder, if a company really just hasn't been thinking about this and then suddenly, oops, this is happening, where does one start? How does one start to even think of a digital strategy?
Well, I think you've got to look at which aspects of your business are ripe for digitization. If you look at a company like Amazon, their share price has increased by $400 billion over this time. They've employed 3,000 new staff. So they've taken a traditional sales business, selling books, moved it online, looked at what that potential was to move other products onto that platform. So then it went from books to music to movies, and now every possible thing. So you're starting small, understanding what your market offering is, your differentiators, and then driving those into the digital space. If I can give an example of the Mindworx Academy, we were a classroom-based training organization until COVID-19 hit, and we saw the gap to take that training online. So now our classes are being performed digitally, and people are video conferencing into the lectures. We're distributing the documents before the lectures start digitally. So that's a pivot to digital.
Yeah, it's an interesting notion. I wish I could explore that a bit more, because there's something about having someone in front of you or next to you that you can't quite get in this digital platform. But I guess, you've got to cope with what you have to cope with. But a topic of another conversation another day, because we have to say goodbye at the minute. Thanks so much indeed for joining us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure. Thanks for having me, Peter.
All right, that's Martin Pienaar, CEO of Mindworx. And basically, listen, this world is digital. It's getting more digital. So we all need to create and learn and develop new skills for this new age that's upon us. All right, we'll have more for you coming up. Stay with us.